Right, good evening everyone. Bewitching hour of 7:30. Welcome to the Parish Council meeting. I'm glad to see we have a packed audience tonight. Well done, three ladies. Yes, but that for us is a packed audience, I might add. We'll move on quickly. What I would say before we start the meeting, that DDC and County Councillor Nigel Collar is here. We're going to bring him forward in the discussions, and we'll actually, while Nigel is here, if you've got any questions on buses, Nigel may be able to help you as much, but that's so. I was going to say, if you come just for the buses, we'll have those discussed as quickly as is possible. Okay, so apologies for absence.
I have apologies from Councillor Gundy, Councillor Taylor and the PCSO.
Right. Anyone have any declarations of interest?
Well, I've got one for the planning matters.
Right. Which is?
8.2.
Yes.
8.2.
Well, is it your planning application?
Yep.
Oh, it is, right. So, right, make certain. Right. Okay, thank you for declaring that. Right, we have the minutes of the previous meeting, which if we can run through, to say, firstly, if I could ask if they are a true copy of the previous meeting, and then we'll run through any matters arising from those which are not on the agenda. So hopefully you've all studied them greatly. Right, so could I ask for a proposer? Pauline, and a seconder? Mike, thank you. Right, I'll take those. Then matters arising from those. If anyone has anything to, if we go through them one at a time. 84, I had a question, or was going to ask a question. Have we received yet the cheque from the schools?
Yes, we have.
We have, so that's good. That's out the way. Good. And do we know how they're doing?
Well, the last thing I knew was that they are full for this term.
Good. Now, just so those that don't know, they asked for £1,000 from us so that they could change the status of the school, and then change their minds and didn't alter it. And that we obviously said that money was specifically to do that. So they repaid it to us. Right. Right. The PCSO is not here. She was asked to send DDC contact information to the clerk. Did you get that? Yes.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Good. Right. Anyone else on that first page before I turn over? I've got nothing on the other two. So if you have anything, please. And anything that's on the agenda will be covered on the agenda. Right, on the last, or next to last page, 88C, just to say, I mentioned last time about repairs of the children's playground. The schedule has all been completed, and they've made a really good job of it. So that's that one. I've got a report here from Patrick, Councillor Gumsey, with regard to the phone box. I'll bring that up later. Just to say, to Councillor Innes, I did see him, I think, with the White Cliffs Countryside Partnership.
South East Rivers Trust.
Yes, no, I saw you, and I thought that you looked deep in discussion.
That's right, and I looked very fetchy with a pair of wellies.
Yes, I did, yes.
It's best wear at the moment.
Yeah, just definitely.
Right. And the other one last thing I had was item 95. There was an A-level student who had asked some questions, invited to the last meeting, couldn't make it. I said, come to this meeting. It's obviously not anyone there. You're not an A-level student, are you, sir? No. Yeah. So, no.
I have emailed him back.
Yes, I did. I replied immediately, but all I got from him, oh no, I haven't got the time, I'm too busy to come to the meeting. Just give me a yes or no answer. Well, you know, and certainly I know Councillor Collar will district councillor and councillor will confirm that in politics you can never give a yes or no answer. If you do, you get shot. It's very difficult. Yes. Yeah, no, it is difficult. When someone says, give us a yes or a no, and it is so difficult. So I was hoping he would be here and he would get some idea as to what the parish council does. So I've nothing else. Anyone else got anything on those?
91 events. I did have my feelings around a bit whatever Parish Council's planning for the summer.
Yes.
So far everybody is waiting.
Sitting and waiting, keeping that powder dry. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to set the date for the summer really, so we can send out some kind of save the date, but maybe a bit too
What's the
early.
latest then we can afford to do that?
Well, if we do the usual days,
No, I meant the date for sending notices out. When are you saying we have to get down off the fence and set
January.
dates? In January, right? Okay.
I would say 6 months. It's more for the arena events and the clubs that
Yes.
they already. It was very difficult this year with the earlier date to get anybody.
Right. What I was suggesting, if you wouldn't mind, if you can continue looking
Yep.
to see what is happening. If you've got a
I mean,
clearer indication before that, we'll then start advertising our date
Yeah.
as soon as that is possible.
parish councillors from Liddon, Temple Ewell and Arkham, those three are basically contacted. They all said they got a meeting this week and
I'm waiting
and
to
today. Yeah. Okay, I'll do
Right,
that
thank
then.
you very much. Right.
Could I just ask about the events? Is it the norm, I don't know, it's been 70 years, to celebrate the coronation? So we'll have the usual fete, which would be like July time,
Yes.
but coronation's going to be early May.
We
Would we like have some fireworks or something?
yeah we have discussed it. I think we've said
We're
we will
waiting
wait
first
and
what's
see
there.
what others do.
And we've got a bank holiday now on
Yes, we
the
have.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, we said we will do some. We will definitely do something. It's just a question of how low or high key it's going to be, and I think that depends on the king. He's obviously looking at maybe
Low profile.
low profile.
Yes.
Yes. So I would say definitely we will do something.
I
We
mean,
will
I
not
would
let it
say
pass.
maybe do an events meeting in January where we can discuss that all and plan a bit what we're
Yes.
planning for the year. I've
Yep.
got a few generally ideas for the whole year.
Yep.
And maybe do an extra events meeting.
Yep. Okay, no, but I say definitely, if you keep your ear to the ground, if you've got any definite news, come back, drop it round on the WhatsApp. We can all see it immediately, and if necessary, we can put a hasty meeting. If not, definitely January. Thank you.
On that note, I would have thought the main thing is going to be the coronation, isn't it? And it's got to revolve around that and whatever the king's wishes are. So although it would be a nice historical event for 70 odd years, but
Yes, well that's what we've said, yes.
we've definitely got to take the lead from the top.
Yep.
Do you know what I just read back a minute?
parties, village parties and break,
Yeah.
picnic
I mean, I thought
as the Queen had asked, which we didn't do.
we were unlucky with the vintage fair twice now.
Yep.
But one idea of what I popped in my head was maybe we ask them to come on that weekend and do a picnic for the
Yep.
village, and
Yes.
then maybe something in the evening. But
Yep.
let's wait a bit.
See what they're all doing.
Yep. But
Yeah,
no,
but definitely separate
we-
from the fete.
Yep. But we will definitely do something for the coronation.
Yes.
It won't pass unnoticed, but it depends how low or high key it has to be to fall in line with the King's wishes. So we definitely have our fate, but we will have something separate around the coronation. But it really depends what is happening. But that will there will definitely be something. Okay. Right. Moving on. To receive ports, we have no PCSO.
I have got a written report.
Are we?
from
Right.
Lucy, so
Yeah.
I'll just tell you
Thank you.
what we got. On it. Just a number of items. She's listed all the items she's dealt with in the past month. Road traffic accident in London Road. Curzing Abbey person worried about a male with a female. Trials attended, all in order. Couple from Minnis Lane, calls coming in about a male acting suspiciously. Lots of undesirables in the area. A concern call at the Ridgeway. Is River School parking issue. If I attach this to the minutes, then you've got all of the...
Lovely, thank you.
There's nothing major.
No, so you're all happy with those, that they're attached to the minutes and we can then read them more fully. Thank you. Right, we're going to move on then, if I may, to welcome District and County Councillor Nigel Collar. And I would say that this will also cover item 6, which is to discuss changes to local bus services, or we will ask Councillor Collar for some guidance, if we may. The floor is all yours, sir.
I know most of you know me, but what you'll get from me is the truth. You might not like what I say, but you'll get the truth. Start off with a couple of district council things, because apart from the normal run-of-the-mill stuff, which you get the planning application notifications from anyway, they've announced today some free parking dates over Christmas. It's basically every Saturday from the 3rd of December up to and including the 31st. They're also kind of consultation this week on the new local plan. Worth a read if you want to go through the 565 pages, I think it is. Sorry.
It's very important.
It is. It's the way that they plan the district, and how many more houses. That's why I've got to get up to Whitfield in a minute, because they've got quite a few houses. Right, so moving on. County Council issues. We're looking at the local transport plan 5. This is how they want public transport throughout the country, sorry, all transport throughout the country, county rather, to look at things. And obviously one of the main jobs I'm doing is making sure that the improvement of Lytton Dover on the A2 is on the list. Whether we get the money from government or not is a different matter, but you know, you need government funding for things like that. Already started working on next year's budget. I know it sounds a bit early, but believe me, it's going to be very important, because last year the county council had to save in year 62 million, and already this year we're 70 million in deficit. A lot of that's going on social care, children's services, and various other little bits and pieces, but they're the main ones taking the money. Pothole blitz is just about come to an end. So if you know of any, want to do them fairly quickly, get them reported, and no doubt somebody will be along soon. Casey's here also building a solar farm as part of the green agenda at Kings Hill. Sorry, my voice is going, I've been talking all day. At Kings Hill, not around here, but it could be the start of something. But of course, we're on the green outstanding area of natural beauty, so chances of us having one are probably pretty remote unless all these things change. I'll briefly touch on immigrants. You know as well as I do what's going on with them. And the ministers have all been down looking at Manston today. Well, Manston is nothing. Although it's in Kent, I'm keeping out of that. I did get drawn in after the guy threw the 5 bombs at their facility at the Marine Station. Marine Station, remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that. Something else.
I did a thing on BBC National Breakfast, a brief interview with Sally Nugent. She was on the red sofa. I was up the Western Heights freezing, and I could only just hear her. And people must have watched that, because I had 6 one from somebody in Morecambe who said, well done. So, and it really hurts when you get poison pen letters. All I said, which people objected to, was if we stopped small boats coming in, COVID wouldn't have a problem. Well, it wouldn't, it'd be somewhere else. That's all I said, these people to Cumbridge over it. But I should imagine they're part of the group. Did you see the demo outside Manston over the weekend? I recognised a few people there. Anyway, let's come on to your favourite subject, buses. How that originated was, as I said earlier, KCC had £62 million loss last year, or we had to find £62 million. Bus subsidies were 6 million, and it had to be reduced. So what they decided to do was take 2 million from it, which meant they went to the operators. Remember, KCC don't run buses. Stagecoach and Arriva and Chalkwell and all those do. And so when they said they couldn't, reducing the funding, obviously they took to their services. And of course, like, bus companies seized on the opportunity to have a look at what services weren't making money. Because they're a commercial concern. And at the moment they've got problems because bus usage hasn't come back to pre-pandemic levels. They're having a job getting drivers, they're having a job getting engineers. And one thing we did do for this area, we saved 11 school services, and above all, we saved the Dover depot. They're going to close that.
They're building a new one.
No, they're not.
They are building a new one.
They're not building a new depot. It's only about 5 years old. So I don't know where you got that from. Anyway, they're not building a new depot. So this is where it came through. Now, as far as your bus area concerned, you've got 94 here, which runs into Pencester Road, and that's a sole river bus which goes via St Radicans. The reason it goes via St Radicans is purely commercial. Neither can substantiate a single journey bus. It doesn't go to, sorry, that's not the Whitfield one there. The Whitfield one as well goes into Pencester Road, as does the Aycliffe one, because it used to go right through the 61, if you remember. I know it came through here at night. So that's what Stagecoach decided they were going to do, and they just told KCC that's what they were going to do.
So which of those three go over the Ridgeway? All three?
No, two now. They get 2 an hour.
I haven't got the timetable.
They've got a timetable.
That's the important bit, the hill, the flat bit is not really that important.
The
in
one that
roundabout.
goes
The
through-
hill is.
The one that comes out to River from town always goes up the Ridgeway.
Is that the
Yeah,
94?
both go up the Ridgeway now. One at 22 the hour, one at 10
Yeah.
past. Yeah.
Every half hour.
In operational questions, we need to go to Stagecoach. Because they're the ones that know where they're running their buses, when they're running them, and this, that, and the other. You have to draw a definite line of distinction between who's responsible for what. That's what I said earlier, KCC do not, what is this going on? KCC do not run buses. The commercial operator is purely responsible for running and operating the service.
I wonder if Stagecoach, any of the managers ever come down and travel on the bus, because that one that goes through River now, which leads you up St Madigan's, there's an awful lot of elderly people who are old in River, because some of those are very old and very disabled to get on at St Madigan's, and you're swinging around chandeliers sometimes, aren't we, holding on, because time to get to the top of St Madigan's or where the hospital is, it's absolutely bulging, and a lot of elderly people have all got their trolleys, which they're entitled to. There's women with prams. I mean, my husband's got a walking stick. A lot of them in there with their walkers. Sometimes that, you know, it's not your fault, but sometimes that 20 to 10, the first bus that pensioners can get, is heaved. And I just wondered if Stagecoach have ever travelled on one of our buses.
I don't know.
No, exactly, yeah. Not
No,
your fault, you know.
Sorry if I could, I know County Council Colour has to get away.
Oh, yeah.
What I would say from a parish council, we have spoken to DCC about it. We've spoken to KCC, and basically none of us can get the bus companies to alter their plans. And it is unfortunately pure economics. The subsidy of some £2 million has been stopped, and the bus companies cannot afford to swallow 2 million, so unfortunately their services have suffered. I wish I could say that we sitting around here or at DDC or even KCC could do something, but it's even above Kent County Council. They lost 67, or they've had 60 or 70 million taken out of their budget. It's got to go somewhere, and it's not just river. It's
but they've made river an island.
But it's
I mean, you can't even get to the leisure centre.
There's some villages that have no
Yeah,
services
yeah.
at all.
Oh,
They
took
don't
those
have
out.
buses.
That's
So
awful.
we're not an island. You know, unfortunately, there is a trickle of buses, but I wished we
There's
could
only
say,
one.
yeah,
You can only go into Dover Town Centre, that's it.
yeah, yes.
You can't get up to Whitfield.
Well, obviously you can, if I would imagine, if you go via Pencester, which is a long way to get. No, I'm just saying that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. If I wanted to go to B&Q and that, I might only want to go for one thing, and I've got to go all. I mean, it would take me about 1.5 hours just to get up to B&Q.
I fully understand, but how do you expect the bus companies to maintain a bigger service if they've had massive cuts from KCC?
Well, how do you expect elderly people? I haven't got a car. I know of a few elderly people in River that go to the sports centre. Well, they did a couple of times a week. They can't go anymore to keep healthy. I mean, the sports centre I thought was only put up there so there'd be a bus service. That it's ridiculous. Even Deal people use the 90 to come in for the sports centre. They come in for Tesco's and so forth. I mean, it's becoming so large up there now, we're inclined to shop up there rather than going to Dover. And nothing synchronises with the buses.
I fully sympathise
You have
with
to
what
wait
you're
half
saying,
an hour
but-
for a connection.
but I don't run Stagecoach. We're here as parish councillors. We've done everything we can. We've lobbied, we've complained, we've moaned, we've written letters. Clive, who isn't here tonight, but he's been heavily involved behind the scenes. Councillor Collars helped us enormously, but there is nothing we can do. I wished I could say, wonderful, we'll put a bus on, we'll do this, that. We're talking tremendous money that the parish council definitely doesn't have, and DDC don't have it, and it wasn't their decision.
How does this fit though, Nick, with the green agenda, keeping people, I mean, to be environmentally friendly, yeah, we could drive our bikes or our cars about and use petrol, but it's much better to use public transport. It's the government agenda.
But with due respect, Mary, sorry, I know that Nigel's got to go, but with due respect, you're talking about government level now, and you're moaning at the parish council to change government decisions.
Stronger together, hopefully.
But there could be better times so people could switch buses.
Which one though?
How?
Then they move all of them.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then,
if I want to go to Deal now, I have to catch a bus into Pencester.
Just miss the 10:15.
But there's a 25-minute wait on all of the buses.
Yeah.
Well, in the winter, the stupid shelters don't protect you from rain or anything else. What do you do for 25 minutes? And then you have to get an 81, which personally for me is no good because my daughter lives in Warman. It doesn't go to Warman. So I have to get off at Station Road and walk 25 minutes into Warman.
Yeah.
And you're talking about if I catch the earliest one I can catch, the 9:40, I won't get to her house until 10 minutes to 12. With the 90, within 40 minutes, I got on the bus and was in her house. That it just, I don't know. I really don't know. Why has the 91 to Folkestone been redirected away from River?
Well, we did that years ago.
No, I've been using it.
Yeah, it goes along
Yeah,
Newton Road and
it
down
cuts
the
us
other way.
off. So where is our nearest bus stop now to catch it? Bushy Rough?
Ancestor.
No,
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 goes to Bushy Rough.
Kersney, isn't it? Down
Yeah,
Goes
Bushy
along the
Rough,
London Road.
on the other side of Kersney.
Yeah.
But why did they do that when it always was
I don't
directed
know.
from River?
Because it went through empty.
It's usually when they don't, they
Right.
only sell
I'm
4
gonna-
tickets through River, then
You've got to get to your other meeting.
that's
Thank
the
you very
problem.
much.
I'll give you as long as you need.
Can I just ask one thing? I don't know who deals with roads or potholes in River. Do any of you deal with that?
Anybody can.
Yes.
Well,
You
no,
can.
I phoned up today because when I live in Low Road River, the bollards, 2 bollards are moving around like this because the drivers keep knocking them over and don't bother to stop. I phoned KCC today, I was on there 20 minutes, I couldn't waste any more time, I'm not online. Just let them know that if somebody doesn't do something to them soon, somebody will be suing, unfortunately, KCC because they're moving around. So if anyone does know who I get in touch with apart from 20 minutes on the phone,
Brazier, something Brazier, his name is. KCC.
KCC, to get them on, yeah, because they're both these bollards.
Which
moving
Which
around.
bollards? I do have it written down, Patty.
In front of
If you're not online.
there's no real river. They made there, because when it was
Which-
two-way,
oh, right.
people get on the pavements, and they still do.
I'll have a look at it and then
Yeah, they
take a
just
photo.
need really somebody with a
Thank you.
cement or something.
Yeah.
What you
Yep.
do.
I take some photos and put it online.
Yes, thank you. If you can do that for me, I'm grateful.
Sorry?
Oh, right, yeah.
It is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
phone, I just couldn't get through to them.
Well, when I see a pothole, that's just me. I usually take a photo with my phone
Yeah,
and
well, if you
record
come
it.
along past the co-op on the right-hand
Oh, yeah.
side, there's one outside Nick Eden's house
Okay,
and one
keep an eye.
next to mine, I think.
Yeah. That's all
Right.
right.
Right, well, nice to see you, Nigel.
Yeah, long time ago.
It is. Hope things get better for you.
Well, yeah,
Got to try.
it's never ending.
It is, it's going to get worse, isn't it? Not better.
I've been up motoring all day today. Been up since 4, so I'm wilting a little bit. Forgive me. Right.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you,
very much.
Nigel.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right.
That's down that road, so that's all. No, it's-
I say the difficult thing for us is that the decision was made,
Stagecoach.
well, by Stagecoach,
That's right.
initially by the government. They cut KCC's budget, and then KCC have had to cut their budget, and Stagecoach and all coach operators saying, we can't fill that hole, so our services are going to reduce. And I know everything we discuss that makes it better, maybe for River, will hit,
Yeah.
another village around us, another destination, residents in another part of Dover. This is the problem. There is only a very small resource of buses now, and they've got smaller, and we can't in any way, and we have tried. Certainly, we've had a number of discussions with DDC who are saying, look, it's nothing to do with us. But we've gone to them, we've gone to KCC, and they're all saying, you've got to deal with Stagecoach. And Stagecoach at the moment are saying they're short of drivers, they're short of mechanics, their costs are going sky high, and they can't afford to run routes which previously they were subsidised on. And even then, they say they were losing money. And it
You
is,
can't blame Stagecoach for, because they are a business.
yes,
Their
yes,
raison d'etre is to make money.
yeah.
The thing is, we all have to look to ourselves and see how all this sits with the green agenda, like we were saying, that we all use our cars too much. If more people use the buses, they would put more buses on. And not enough people use the buses because too many people use their cars. Once we start running out of oil, and don't say electric cars because the electricity for electric cars is generated
Well,
by
I've just
fossil fuel.
I've just bought one, and of course you can
It's
imagine now it costs twice as much.
But the
Yes.
power is generated by fossil fuels. We've all got to stop using cars.
Yep.
But it means there's got to be such a shift in the force that's not going to happen overnight.
Yep.
Not in our generation.
I think
But
it's-
the one thing I would say with the electric car is it's the emissions. There are no emissions from an electric car. It does
But
use
there-
fossil.
There are emissions
To
when
make it-
fossil fuel is used.
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
create the power.
But there's emissions, far more emissions from a car nowadays. So it is a step forward in the right direction. There's less emissions, but it's still not the whole answer. But then what do we do? Electric cars, we're being told, is the way forward. But anyway, sorry, that's not for
Well,
the
I
Parish
do hope
Council debate.
maybe there will be an improvement for us once this fast track is in place.
That's only going to it's not coming out here.
No, I know,
Sorry.
I'm not stupid, I know it's not coming here, but I know it goes from Penchester up to Whitford really quickly. So I'm hoping that we could,
But how many people actually
You know,
live at Whitfield and need to work in Aycliffe?
No, it's not going to Aycliffe, it's going to Dover Park.
but it will connect the town centre with Whitfield, but we've just said that more and more businesses are moving to Whitfield, so
The actual
it
change
will
of
help
service.
us out by when we take the smaller bus to Penchester and then switch.
Right.
Anyway.
I'm going to say, I wished we could say more. I wished Nigel could have said, yes, there is a glimmer of hope. We're going to get things altered.
We don't subsidise.
At the moment, there is very little we can do. We have lobbied Stagecoach, despite what you may read on the local websites, etc. We have been in touch with them. We have been doing that through DDC and KCC, and we can't get any movement at all from them.
I wrote to Stagecoach, took it down to the operations manager, and I, believe it or not, I got a reply.
Yep.
But it didn't help me at all.
No,
But
we-
he just apologised and he gave me a reply.
Yep.
It's just, I think it's wrong that we can't get to Whitfield. I mean, even the district offices are up there.
Because you can't get there to see them.
Yep.
I'll go talk to them.
Yep. But as I say,
I have to go into town and back out again to, I mean, I haven't got a computer or anything, even to do things that, like the voting and everything else. And what is it, the things that come through and you've got to go up there? I mean, I'm not going to do it. It's just, whether it's illegal or not, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to spend all that time
I
going
think
up there to-
unfortunately you're in the same boat as so many other people, and as I think over the next 2 years things go on, more and more people will become getting into a very difficult boat where they'll be running up debts. They won't be driving their cars because they won't be able to afford to drive them. We've got a really tough 2 years ahead of us, and unfortunately, right at the start, we've lost our buses. But there's nothing here we can
If they
do.
want us to keep fit, if I'm not fit and they put me in a residential home, that is going to cost the government a lot of money, isn't it? They're going to have to contribute
Yep.
in some way to my
Yes.
care. So they might as well let me have a bus to get to the leisure centre.
But they won't.
Do something.
I think you're preaching to the converted.
Well, I know, but I just...
They probably will just say walk.
If you increase my passenger
Elderly
count,
discount.
I know.
Since COVID.
They've taken 12%
But I think it's been a bit too soon, really, because people,
also
I mean,
Sorry, just one discussion, sorry. Yeah.
Nigel said that they've lost a lot of passengers because of COVID, because they've gone to their cars. And they
No, it's not. If I could just say, every organisation, be it a sports club, a business, leisure, whatever you're in, are saying, where have the people gone? Since COVID, people have altered enormously the way in which they live. I bowl at a bowls club, and we can't believe how many games we've cancelled and other clubs have cancelled this year because, for whatever reason, our members just are not coming out. It's the same in businesses. They can't get the staff that they want, but people have altered since COVID. Nothing to do with using their cars. they're just not going out. They've altered what they're doing. A lot of people like doing nothing during COVID, and they've continued doing it. But it's a change in the whole way in which, society act. And I don't know what it is, why it is, but it's definitely not that they've gone back to cars. People just have altered very dramatically what they do.
But it's like people used to, that bus going to Canterbury that came through River used to be so busy.
Yes.
And Canterbury used to be a nice place to go shopping. It's not anymore.
No.
So
So I
it's
used to
not
go
the
to the
same.
hospital, this all the hospitals.
Yeah,
And I found that very useful.
yeah.
Now I've got to go to Folkestone to see my consultant,
No, no,
and I can't do it, can I?
no.
Directly.
Well, we
Well,
go
my
to Lincoln
doctor's
surgery,
surgery.
took my husband half an hour to walk from the railway bell home the other day from, we got the 15, so going into town, he decided to walk, which was really killed him, and half an hour coming down that hill. It's under the railway bridge, I mean, that's... Anyway,
Right.
that's
As I say, I do apologise. I wish we could do more. We can't. And yes, I'm going to have to move on because we're right. No, I'd love you to say, Mary. You know you're always welcome. Bring your badminton racket. Yes, yes. I used to play badminton.
Anyway, thank you very much anyway.
No, thank you for coming.
That's all right.
And
We do
as I say,
understand it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not only me, I've just been up driving after 57 years with arthritis and all the rest of it, so I'm going to bust now, but never mind.
And I'm up the Ridgeway, so I know
Yeah,
tricky it is.
I was up there 45 years ago, it was no bus then.
It's not fun to walk up there really.
as a parish council, we will continue to lobby Stagecoach, most importantly KCC, because if KCC don't and can't pump the money in, then Stagecoach will not
England needs
foot
to
the
win
bill.
the lottery, don't we?
Yes.
So, when they passed,
Anyway,
it's
thank you.
like a,
You could all have to go for it.
I've got to go on.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. I wish we could do more.
That's all right.
Is this all my fault?
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it. Oh, it's okay. Thank you, good evening.
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right. But I'm just going to say it is very difficult. They are quite rightly frustrated. But I don't say it's more, it's harder for the elder generation who no longer drive, couldn't walk even if they wanted to. It is very, very unfair, but it's unfair across the whole of the county. It's not just River, it's not just Dover, it's the whole of the county is suffering. And I say some villages have been cut off completely with no bus services. Yes.
They're not happy as well.
So no, not good, and
Okay.
unfortunately nothing we can do
No,
about
I
it.
know, but I do sympathise.
Right. We've unfortunately lost our members of the public, which was to receive questions, but I think they've obviously rightly vented their
Yes.
frustration.
I think we need a new silver surfer thing.
Right, we'll move on to item 8, which is planning matters. Andrew, over to you.
Yes,
Chris
What about
is-
parish councillors?
Councillors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have bothered with that. Yes. Right, we'll parish councillors. Chris?
Just to, I said in the minutes of the last meeting, they said I made the comment that after the resurfacing of the London Road, and they'd blocked the drains with the surplus tarmac, they'd be cleared. But again, with the current extreme rain, we see
No, blocked again.
all blocked again. This is just obviously, we haven't got the staff
Drive around the village.
Exactly.
Block drains.
Exactly.
Drive everywhere.
Coming
God.
down Whitfield, it
Yes,
turns out into a flood
Yeah.
coming down there,
Yeah.
isn't it, when it's
Yeah.
wet?
But that we've got exceptional weather
Yeah,
conditions at the
well, it
moment.
might be a case that they've got to seriously think of building storm drains for the future. And there's no doubt about it, as they've got in many parts of the world.
I think the issue is that we've got to learn to work with our wastewater. A lot of initiatives by Southern Water and Affinity Water, because I'm now attached to the East Kent Improvement group, and they bring in both Southern Water. And what they're doing is that they're having initiatives now amongst householders where they're providing additional water butts and everything. They're additional funding in schooling where all the water running off school roofs is tanked. So we're not getting that massive amount of excess water going into the drain system and everything. And I genuinely think that's the way forward, how we manage it. You know, climate change is not going to take this away. Okay, so we need to find a better way to manage it. But that's obviously not at our level at Parish Council, but that's the big picture right now.
Right. Anything?
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
I do
yes,
have
right.
a status report on the DAO, which I
Lovely.
may distribute. Ladies first. Okay. One between you and the sharer. There we go.
Yeah,
You've probably got two there. I should take one of those away. Let's not waste paper. Okay. Children,
Thank you.
Andrew. Okay. Right, let's kick off at the top end of that, and that was my meeting with the Southern East Rivers Trust and on Friday, and I was accompanied by the White Cliffs Countryside Partnership. The objective there was to examine the river and see if we could find any viable habitat improvement areas. Now, the most important element in that is South East Rivers Trust, not WCCP, and their scientific officer has gone away to think about what might be viable projects for us. But there is one caveat there, is that when you look at the River Down, and we have a very short stretch of it, it's what's called habitat fragmentation. It's not a joined up river, okay? Now, the whole process in river management these days is making sure that a river is a single flow, so you get all the fish migration and everything. And we've got many, many infrastructure barriers. If you go to the upstream end, you've obviously got the weir of Guernsey. You come down there, you hit the mill. Now, not only you've got obstruction at the mill, but in the mill pond itself, there's a runoff weir there. Now, if that runoff weir wasn't there, fish could come up the side stream and into the mill pond and then further upriver. Obstruction there. You then go down 400 yards further down on our southern boundary downstream. You've got another weir, which is the end of Lower Road going into Crapple Lane by the flats. So there are definitely infrastructure issues there. So he's going away to think about what is viable under a funding opportunity, and he'll report back. The significant thing I think we have made is that whilst I didn't necessarily want WCCP there, they did attend and I invited them, is that they have always been very Dover-centric, and there's a reason for that, is that the majority of the Dow, Lower Dow, is in the Dover area, and that's where the mass of the population is, where the most problems with the river are. However, they have agreed a tacit arrangement with me that they won't look at the Dow as upper and lower, that they will join forces with us on a project. And there is, I will report in January, a potential project coming up for the spring with them on the river. Moving on from that, Affinity Water, which I've been chasing since the 8th of June, have now at last acknowledged my freedom of information request for abstraction data, i.e. the amount of water they're taking out of the Dow. So that's now in process. So it's taken, nearly 20 weeks just to get to acknowledge it. But at least they've done that.
Well done.
It's meant that I've pretty much acted like Columbo really on that one, but I avoided the dirty Mac.
I haven't got into the dirty Mac yet.
I don't want to be seen in the park in that. It could cause problems, I suggest. Now, the most significant people in our confederation is the East Kent Catchment Improvement Partnership. And I attended a meeting there in Ashford on the 19th of October. And although the Dow Partnership, WCCP and DDC were invited attendees and even had a team link or Zoom link, they didn't actually attend. Now that's a great meeting because I'm there with the water companies and I get to learn the language about conservation and everything. But the most significant thing there is that our catchment officer from the Environment Agency is sitting 2 seats away from me. So I'll have the opportunity, like I did last time, to bend their ear. Now, so that's a very, very important arrangement there, and the next meeting's on the 9th of January. I also sent the Environment Agency a Freedom of Information inquiry about abstraction, and they've come back on that, but they've only answered my peripheral questions. They've not rejected my questions about abstraction, and that remains pending. So where I think we're at right now is the confederation I wanted to create, a bit like you really having DDC and KCC involved in our parish meetings. And that nucleus of confederation is beginning to gel now, and I'm being invited to where our voice should be heard. And I think that's particularly significant because Dow Partnership, WCPP and DDC are not attending these meetings. So mine was a lone voice on behalf of the Dow amongst many other southeast rivers in Kent, from the Darren, the Stour, etc. So I think that's a good progress. Certainly, I genuinely believe that there will be some sort of initiative with the WCCP by spring. And I'd like to present that proposal in the January meeting, if I may.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you very much. It's nice to get such a concise overview of what you're up to. I mean, what is so disappointing, it must be for you, after 20 weeks for someone to say, oh yes, we've had your letter. Not that we're going to reply to it, but we've at least acknowledged they've received it. It is hard work, so thank you for persevering.
But at least we're getting people with feet on the ground here now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
Tina.
Sorry. Yep.
I would have brought this up with Nigel, but he obviously wanted to get away,
Yes.
and everything was taken over with the buses. We hear about the roads and the odd pothole in the road. I'm not a driver. I don't care about potholes in the road. What I do care about is the state of the pavements. As you all know, I've just had knee replacement surgery. And part of my rehabilitation is going out for a walk. You start off on 2 crutches, then you go to 1 crutch, and then you're off crutches and you hobble along. I have never noticed what a disgusting state the pavements are in. So you've got things like uneven paving slabs. You've got you've got gas, electric, water, cable TV has been dug out and patched up by whoever that company is. It's all up and down. Dropped curbs, wheelie bins all over the pavement. And this doesn't just affect me. I realise that obviously it did affect me, which is why I noticed it. When you've got people that are say in wheelchairs, or just older people, which we have a lot of in River, that have mobility issues, young families with pushchairs, or you know, pushchairs and a toddler, they are disgusting. You know, if there's a pothole in the road, you can write to somebody and they'll come and they'll patch it up. You know, if you're in a car, drive a bit slower, it won't damage your car. But the pavements are disgusting. So I would have liked to have brought this up with Nigel, but I would like it minuted that in future we will, I think we should talk to the district council and say there are certain areas, as you go down here from Lewisham Road down Common Lane towards the co-op, the state of that pavement is disgraceful.
Pauline, I was going to say, I think
It comes under KCC. It's on the same highway site as reporting roads and potholes.
So you just go directly to KCC?
If you go into KCC highways and then it's got report fault online, report fault, you go down, there's a whole list. Oh, it's a very long list, and pavements are in there. And various other things as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right,
And
I will do that.
Because it does come under them. Yeah.
I do think that it'd be good to have the support of the Parish Council as well, particularly a parish where we have so many older people that have mobility issues. I was shocked, I was really shocked.
I mean, we do support the fact that you're preparing, but
you take your life in
you have
hands.
to report them.
Well, I had a couple stop me last month. They had a mobility chair and they just said, generally it's very difficult to drive around in river with those mobility chairs because
Some of the pavements are
you
very
don't know
wide.
where the drop curbs are. They're not necessarily opposite than the other side of the road, the other side.
There's
You have to
everywhere,
go
yeah.
diagonal over it. That makes it really dangerous. So yeah, generally that is maybe something we could split the roads up and check.
Yeah.
We've done that with the hydrants once.
Yeah,
But
just
just-
report them online.
Just to walk along the pavement is a complete nightmare that I've never noticed before.
But as Pauline said, it is possible to report how quickly they will repair. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's certainly worth.
They come out and
Try.
look at it. When
And
one of them
you
comes out
can
quickly.
mention. I don't know. I would imagine you can mention on there that it's been discussed at the River Parish Council meeting, or you're a parish councillor. Yes, by all means, we would certainly support that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have brought it up with Nigel, but he
I mean,
was obviously...
The pavements have to be above a certain thing, but I mean, some of them probably are. They won't come and repair it unless if it's only just up, but they will repair. There are quite a few that need repairing.
They're dreadful.
Yeah. Drop curbs they won't do anything about because that's because either of for crossing the road
No.
or a driveway.
Sorry, I was
no,
going to say.
I accept that.
I need to. Yeah, we need to watch. the
Sorry,
time. Yep.
sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, they
Okay.
repair
Yep.
it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christian?
Mine just obviously didn't go down far enough.
Top
Okay.
5 from.
Have you anything?
Really.
Have you got anything?
I'm fine, thank you.
No.
No, I
I
haven't.
have just something for the rec, but I'm waiting.
Right. We'll then move on to planning matters.
Where I shop.
Are you going to take us through those, Pauline?
I am, yes.
Yep.
We've got the first one, which is Deanwood Road, right up on the nice little curvy bit at the top where you turn around, or where the lorries try and turn around occasionally. This one, it's an extension at the front of the house for a change. And it's a conservatory bought on the front of the house. Now, there aren't any others along there. There's a couple of porches people have got. I'm not sure how far out he'll go to look at. I mean, I know how far the measurements say. I can't see a problem with it, but it will just depend on whether they accept the fact it's actually going to be different to the front of the other houses. I mean, there's a few with porches, but they're not quite as big. But where he is, he's set back anyway. That one's right up the top, he's set back. I can't see a problem. It's been nicely drawn by a certain person.
Yeah, I did notice that.
But yeah, it's unusual to have it on the front, but people do. I haven't got any comments on it. Is anyone else? There's no complaints or no objections on
There's
that.
no objections. None of
wasn't
them.
any when I
I
got
can't see there's a problem with it.
No.
It's kind of around the corner anyway.
Yeah. He is set back that way, and it's yeah. So I can't see a problem with that one.
Right.
Right, no one's got
Nobody got any?
No.
No. So no comments. Yep.
Oh, let me have this tree. Yeah. Certain people will know quite well. It's going to be topped, isn't it? 3 metres? 2 ash trees, yeah, 3 metres. Quite a distance, but it obviously needs it. Yeah, they do need topping up there. There's quite a few.
They're lucky it's still alive. I mean, all my ash trees are dead in my
Yeah,
garden.
they're quite good
Die back.
condition. Yeah.
And it's leaning onto. Am I allowed to comment this?
Yes, you are. You can't vote on it.
It's
you can comment
leaning
on it.
onto the BT line of Cobber Road, which I'm really worried about
Oh, I
every
suppose
time.
BT haven't mentioned
Because
it.
I'm
Is
they're
it just?
technically not really supposed to be on
No, they're
my
not supposed
plot
to
of
be.
land,
But they-
but they are.
It's a preservation order. This is.
Yeah, it's got TPR on it,
Yes.
yeah. So.
I'm just reading that.
But
yeah.
I can imagine they will chop it down. There's no problem with not chopping it down.
Chopping it down by 3 metres.
3 metres,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
10
purely
foot,
because it's
isn't it?
getting too tall. It's not in any
Well, if it's
way.
hitting the telephone wires.
Yes,
it
but I'm
isn't
saying
chopped.
it's not in any way
No.
diseased or.
It is diseased.
They might look at it and say, sorry, it's got to go, but they won't
I
know that until
would
they
love it,
start
really.
looking at it. But they've only asked to chop it, so they've obviously looked at it once.
No.
No, I haven't
But
got
for
comments.
safety's sake, I think it probably needs
It's
zoning
got to
or
be,
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Both.
Yep.
True, by the way.
Yeah. The other one, oh, that's just been passed, isn't it, the permission?
Decision.
Yeah.
That's how the Dow used to look.
You see the picture?
All rolled out.
So that's planning out of the way.
It's
Yes.
actually in the garden. It's
Right.
on the road.
We will move on now to River Recreation Ground. There are quite a few things I need to run through on there. We said it would include mention of the pathway. I've got someone here from John Hill. Yeah, John Hill. Right, we have a problem. The pathway in the wreck, there's two pathways, not the main one down by the Bowls Club, but two pathways that lead from the old play area and to the gate in the middle. They've been in situation for a lot of years. The tarmac is old, it's cracking, it's well past its best. There's 3 copies there. And John Hill, I'd asked John to look at patching it, and he said yes, he can patch it. If he makes good the patching that needs doing now, it will cost us about £420. But if we have a hard winter, basically that will get rid of all of the work that we've done and will mean that the next time it'll be even more. We're unfortunately faced with the situation where both tarmac paths need replacing. Unfortunately, at a cost of some £7,500. We can patch it, and we'll patch it and patch it and patch it. It'll still cost us £7,500 at some stage to replace. And Andrew, how are we financially?
Well, the money is there.
It is there.
To do it.
Right. No, it's no good discussing it if we don't have the funds. So basically, those 2 paths, John Hill is saying ideally they need replacing. And if you walked in the wreck recently, they are getting really bad, really bad. And the last thing we want is someone to fall over, hurt themselves. Otherwise, we would have problems. So basically, I would like to ask that we look at replacing those 2 paths as quickly as possible. The longer we leave it, if the weather gets worse, they could break up completely. They really are in a state. So that's the first thing I'd like to discuss, and I'd like to either agree we spend £420 in patching them, or we bite the bullet and completely...
It's going to be cheaper in the long run to replace them.
Has he said if he could do this quite quickly?
Yes.
If we would agree to do the proper...
He won't do it himself. He's got a specialised company that does tarmacking, yes.
And I'm just wondering, because we've got the football restarting when? They're already started?
Saturday.
They start Saturday.
I'm
On
just
Saturday,
wondering.
Saturday to come, yes. Providing it's dry for little levels, because it's...
And how long would that take to do that then? I just,
I
I'm
thought
worried
it
about
was
this.
It's
Taking it all up.
2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days,
That's
correct?
right, yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
I'm just thinking if it interferes with the newly start. But I do worry that if we have more footfall, that because the football's restarted,
Yes.
You're going to get more football.
that I have
If
it
he's
just
doing it
gets
in
worse.
the week, he'll be doing it in the week when they're not playing football, won't he?
Yeah,
Oh
hopefully it
yes,
starts.
yes, he certainly wouldn't.
Yeah,
His tarmackers wouldn't do
Monday
it
till
weekend.
Friday.
No,
Yeah. That's
no.
okay.
I think it's worth doing it properly rather than paper
Oh, it is.
with the cracks.
If we can afford it, we've got to get it done properly.
We
better.
Well, we've got
we can afford it, but it's
It's a lot of
it is a lot of money.
It is a lot of
But
money, yes, but I think it's...
we've patched that 2 or 3 times in the past, a few £100 each time. But it's been wanting replacing for about 4 or 5 years. It really, we're lucky we've got this long with it.
How old is the old tower? When was it done the last time?
Well,
Probably.
let's put it
I mean,
this way.
I'm just wanting to know how long this was. It 7.5.
Well, I've been on the
last
Parish
time.
Council 10 plus years.
Will
It's
that
not
see
been
us
done
through?
in
About
those
20
years.
years
I'll be
ago, I
thinking
think.
about 20 years.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yes.
See us through then.
Yeah.
I don't think we can be commenting and criticising the state of
Yeah.
the pavement.
Hasn't it?
If we don't do our part,
And not, you know,
Right.
it's a bit brass neck, not looking after our road, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right.
it is, but it's different, isn't it?
If I could ask
Get
for
that,
the
but-
proposer, if I may, seconder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show of hands.
Needs doing.
Yes.
For someone
Okay.
to say for it.
I will instruct John Hill to get on with that. I did mention briefly before that the first round of repairs on the 2 toddlers or 2 play areas have gone through, and they've made a really good job of what they've done. Before we got John Hill to do some, Robin did some, and we taped them up and we tied them up, and we have to maintain them. So in 3 months they will come back, and anything that they consider to be moderate, not serious, if it's serious they would do it immediately or they'd close it, but anything that they deem moderate will be on the next hit list.
Yeah.
So, but we have to maintain that play equipment or put it out of action.
It's very popular.
It is. It's getting more popular, which is great. I received a letter about 10 days ago through my letterbox from a resident in, Meadow, just trying to think, it's River Meadow.
Yes,
and unfortunately, the Bowls Club have been working on the back of one of their sheds in which they house their watering equipment, and to paint it and to repair the back of it, they'd had to cut quite fiercely back a boundary hedge. There was a fence, but the fence was long gone. They had spoken to the householder while they were doing it and said, we will reinstate the fencing, and they hadn't. So I had a letter, I popped and saw them, and they said, yes, sorry, the weather's been against us since we've done it, but here is a fencing, and it's metal fencing that they're going to put there. So I'd asked Andrew if he would write to or contact the householder, which you say you've done, and they now know that it is going to be repaired. But I dealt with it as quickly as possible. And while I was there, I took the opportunity of reading the water meters, because we pay for their water and then they pay us back. So I gave Andrew the readings for that, so we can expect some hundreds of pounds, I think, back in water charges. We've had a few nights of problems in the wreck, and one rubbish bin, the one in the new new play area, was taken from its casing, trampled on, and it's damaged. We can't straighten it to get it back in. So I've asked Andrew to order a bin as quickly as is possible.
We did have another spare in the wreck.
Is there?
In the changing room, because there was one sitting around in there.
Right.
It's still there.
I don't know.
Does anything ever come of the CCTV that we have? Do we forward that on to the police?
Yes.
Do we ever get anything?
No.
I
It's,
actually think I'm doing
it's so
Christmas ornaments.
soul destroying that we've never ever had a feedback on anything that we've sent through. No, it's an awful thing to say, but vandalism in the wreck, I suppose, is a long way down on their list of priorities.
And they're underage, some of them.
Yes, they are,
We can't
mainly.
publish it.
But no, we do. If there is a problem, unfortunately, all falls on Andrew to do. It used to be Roger used to help, didn't he? But so yes, we do, and we've honestly never ever had a reply. No feedback, and we've even chased a couple of them. So I will check tomorrow then if there is. Not tomorrow. I'll wait for 2 days, but I'll check it on Friday. If there is a bin, then I'll swap that. But we need to get another bin, so we've got a spare one. But I'll leave that out. That will remind me. Right, and also Robin, the handyman, pops around quite regularly now and gives me an update on what he's doing and what's not happening. And he's asked, and I've said yes, he wanted to, could he have a leaf blower? And I've said yes. So we are, as a parish council, purchasing a leaf blower, because he clears a lot of areas of leaves in what he does, bags it up and gets rid of them. And he's been doing it all by
I'm
hand.
surprised
It's
we
been
don't
hard.
have one yet.
Yeah,
Very
we haven't. But so I have agreed with him that he will have a leaf blower. Leaf blower, rubbish bins. Yeah, water I've done. Yeah, football should start this Saturday, 12th of November. And as I say, there's 12, 14 sides in total, not all playing, but it really will be busy. The pitches are marked out, which is great to see. What they had to do, our grounds men do a brilliant job, but they cut it and leave it there. They tried to paint the lines and the wind blew and the lines blew. So what they've done now, they have a guy with a small ride-on mower, and he actually runs through, he's cut the pitches down, taken the grass away, it's gone to a farmer who will let them dump on his property, and then he will every week cut the lines and then repaint them when they need doing. But so it's lined up and it looks good. They're still waiting for their container, but this Saturday I've said that if they are there, I will definitely go out to welcome them. It'll be nice to see football, and it will be busy. It's not all day, it's not going to lose it to the village, but it will be nice. It'll be boys and girls playing football.
Is it morning or afternoon?
Morning, 10 o'clock roughly, yes, 10 o'clock, about 2 hours.
Yeah.
They won't all play, but they swap, they play sides. There is a small league they belong in, so it's serious, but it's play, it's lovely. And I did see actually last weekend the FA had banned any, just for a week, 2 weeks as a trial, any shouts at all from the touchline.
Yes.
And I thought, what a good idea, because if you go and listen to a football match and you hear them, go on, kill him, Johnny, and do this and do that, get it, and they said, no, kids should play football, they should talk to each other, they should play as a team, and there shouldn't be someone bellowing from them from the sideline. And it'll be interesting to see whether that happens there, because I do remember when we were in Kingston Close, when football was being played, my goodness, could you hear it? You could hear a lot of things being said by those on the pitch and off the pitch. But to me, that is really good that we definitely have football back in the rec.
Yeah, but Sunday league pub football is not a pretty spectacle.
No. And we obviously can't do that because we don't have changing rooms. We've still got an ongoing battle, which you saw with Sport England, who don't want us to alter them. We need changing rooms, which is crazy. But John and Robin, thank goodness, finally removed John's bits and pieces off the steps he'd put in, so the steps are now clear. I have had a call from Mrs. Jones, who lives in Mannering Close, to say that there were some long protruding bits of a hedge and can we trim it. So I just said to GW, when you're down, get your guys just to have a trimmer and just spend 2 minutes just checking that nobody can moan about the hedge. I mean, we've cut that so well this year, but
always get that bit that grows.
Always get, but I try to keep everyone happy. It's not possible, but that is where we are with the rec, and I say we still are waiting. Sport England came on as well, can we come down on the 16th? I was away, Paulie was away, so I've said no, we will see them, but I've suggested first, second week. Well, it was, she originally wrote to us as Sport England.
Yes.
But she's actually Football Federation, she wears both hats. So that's why, so we've got her, so I've suggested first, second week in December, but they're adamant that we need changing rooms.
We might not use them, but we need them there.
Yeah.
We never use them.
No, so we continue with an argument there, which is really frustrating. But other than that, yes, and John Hill, thank goodness, very slowly but surely, has been himself working in the cottage, so it is getting there very, very slowly. And I said to John, football starting next week, you would have,
really
parents, you'll make a killing. But really, really frustrating. But he is moving at John Hill's pace, and you will see that we finally got a box on the Christmas tree area. He's finally, because he said, I thought you'd asked me to do that. I said, John, I've asked you about 10 times. But he's finally done it just in time for Christmas. I am ordering tomorrow an 11 foot, because you moaned it was 12 foot last year and you couldn't reach the top.
It's not any taller than me.
No, you're our own now. you're the
I
gnome.
have a
You
tour
can go up there. We'll hand you the
All right,
decorations.
Yeah, no,
I was on the top step, I
last
still couldn't
year,
reach
sorry,
it.
last year I couldn't do it. This year I am fighting fit, so yes. But I've ordered 11-foot symmetry because they're lovely trees.
I don't mind 12.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of you just in case. Right, so plenty happening in the rec, and it is growing in popularity. It really is. I had a call this morning from Stuart, the dog warden from DDC. Lovely to say, are you happy with the new signs? And I said yes. He's confirmed that definitely the bottom area from Lower Road is now a dog-friendly zone,
it is.
up as far as the barrier and including the car park. So that is good because we wanted that done because parents are complaining they've got children in the play area, can't go there. People are coming into the car park with dogs, not supposed to walk them out. And when the cafe comes along as well, that will help.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's on the actual proper
Yes,
document
yeah.
now.
So really good discussion with him. You know, he rang me and said, "Are you happy?"
Thank you.
And I had to say yes. So it's good. So that's the end of the rec. But I say it is unfortunately costing money. That's 7 and a bit thousand we're going to spend, but we have to do it.
It's quite good for the village.
Yes. Right. Financial reports, Andrew. Over to you.
Well, you've got a report there in front of all of you. Sorry, I didn't get it sent through. You haven't got copies of the bank statements. There is a reconciliation. Reconciliation, you may notice, doesn't work, but I haven't had time to find out what I've missed out. It'll just be something I've put in the wrong place. So recreation ground, standard costs. I think they're nothing. Groundwork, cleaning, all the service of the fire extinguishers.
Well, that's our water bus stream. Oh, the water, is it business stream?
Yes.
Right. Sorry, I was just, yeah.
We're still getting, I can't understand why we're still getting estimated readings on that because the meter is perfectly accessible. But I still need to contact them to try and find out why they're not doing that.
They can now work out exactly what is used on the bowl screen, and that there should be no wastewater charge on it.
So that's that, and then the parish renewal of our data protection registration, the big costs for the highways, the 20 mph limit went through.
Oh, good. We've paid for that now.
Yep.
That's good.
No date yet.
No.
No, say any date and
It'll be in their programme.
That's kind of payment for a quarter's meeting hall hire, and I think that's about it. Say it's in the income at the top there. There is the money coming back from the preschool, £140.
Oh, right, yes.
And so the reconciliation, which has a problem with it, but I will sort that out and send through a corrected copy to you as soon as I can find out where the problem is. Constant problem now is with the postal strikes, it's getting checks through to people. We had our payment to Calc, our subscription, sat around for months being uncashed. They said they hadn't got it and it seemed to have turned up and it was cashed this last month.
Oh, 5,000 unpresented you had, yeah?
Yes.
Gosh.
You know, it's,
it's got a
do
lot, isn't it?
they, do they get the checks? I don't either know. But say I'll send through a copy of digital copy with the bank statement so you can verify the balance, the online balances.
Brilliant. Anyone any questions on? No, thank you, Andrew. It's normal for. And we've got no mystery difference. There's
Well,
only a few pence somewhere.
There is, there's a little bit.
There's a lot more than that this time, but say it's,
Oh, is there?
it's
Yeah.
about 500, something
Well,
like that.
just under, isn't it?
Yeah, it's,
Oh, between, yes?
I have to keep pulling the spreadsheet
93 and 9,
every
yes.
month now because there's an extra bank account.
So it's gone up from around 50p or so, it's about.
It was fine last month, but it was somewhere
You got the wrong column.
wrong code.
Right.
Shut up.
Good, thank you, Andrew.
received about four letters from people regarding the buses. I don't know whether any of them were here this evening.
Have you got names?
I have, don't really reading out particularly, but
That's Mary. Mary was the
oh right,
third one to come in.
well, obviously they brought up their concerns when they were here. I think the other one's very similar. Concerns about getting to the surgery at Lytton, and obviously getting to Whitfield for BBC, for leisure centres, Tesco's, etc.
I think possibly these were the ladies that have been here tonight. But it's. I was expecting more, not necessarily people come to the meeting, but to receive 3 letters. It's not a lot, but I
There
wish
have
we
been
could.
comments on Facebook, but
Yes.
they've not sent in or not come to the meeting.
But I just wish there was something
The
at the
other
moment we could see as being able to, improve it for them.
The other thing is, I don't know whether this kind of correspondence or not, but I have got a hard copy of the local plan if anyone wants to borrow it. One
That's some good bedtime reading.
Yeah.
It's got about a month of
That
bedtime
would be
reading
quite
there.
useful actually, that saves me just scrolling up so many
Oh, yeah.
pages.
There's basically there is no
There's nothing for
development
River.
for River.
No.
The only thing that might be of concern to the Parish Council is that obviously the continued development in Whitfield.
Yeah.
There are
Wheel.
and there are 2 new link roads I think for Whitfield planned, but there's nothing particular for the A linking to help any situation with traffic coming down Whitfield and Whitfield Hill and going on the 85/6. So if anyone wants to borrow that, you're welcome.
But you look at what they're doing at Whitfield, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They just continue to build, and you've got a deal.
Deal was worse.
Mm.
Apparently it took someone 3/4 of an hour to go half a mile the other day. Because they've got roadworks.
They
Like,
did right as
everywhere
you
else.
went into deal, yes.
Yes, you've got
Yeah.
cross deal, it's a
Yeah.
nightmare. It's bad enough in Dover.
Right. Before we move on to item 12, any other information, I have received, and I'll pass a copy around to everyone. No?
That's the telephone box.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got one.
You have? Right.
We've got a little.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you got it right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's a lot better than what I've got there. You've obviously, yes, right. Basically,
on the
Patrick
back
has moved forward. I know we got a price of £600 for painting the box, but that is obviously only a small amount. If we're going to do it, it makes sense that we do it properly. As I say, I'm still not, I don't think we're doing it as we should do, but what Patrick's done, he's come up with potential costings to hopefully bring it so it looks much more presentable. They appear to think they can fill the holes in the door because there's a lot of rotten wood on the door. But in total, it comes to, without any fitting of the bits and pieces, £1,250, 600 of which is the painting. So what I was going to ask tonight was, we've got to move forward on the box. We've got to do it. The longer we leave it, the worse it gets. His guy's prepared to start work on it in a couple of weeks' time. And what I was going to say was, should we say to Patrick, right, there's £1,500, £1,500, you're 1,250 roughly, without the fixing of parts, etc. And £250 doesn't go far, and they're bound to need to do something more. But to authorise Patrick to go ahead with obtaining all the pieces you want, and it's pointless cutting corners and saying, well, let's just have one telephone box sign on it, for 3 maximum. Well, why spoil it for £60? Only have one-on-one one side. So I really feel that we accept what he's got here. Say to Patrick, right, you've got a budget of £1,500.
Yeah.
You know, all those bits, all of those, and obviously if you hit problems, come back and tell us. But basically, to move it forward, we've had it for how long now, Andrew? A long time.
2 years.
2 years, yeah. It's and it would be good to see it moving forward. So I would like to ask if you agree, if I can have a proposer and a seconder for.
I'm happy to propose it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just add to that? The last meeting I came to, which seems like an eternity ago, I asked about whether we should put a suggestion box in there, and you asked me to go and source one. Well, you can buy suggestion boxes for anything from £25 to £60. They're not expensive, but are we still happy to have a suggestion
Well, at the
box
moment,
in there?
it's been
Used as a library.
it's been used as a library. Nobody is owning up to
No, I know that's
organising the library. I think
I
we all
think we've
got a good
actually
idea, but it's Patrick is going to take all of the library books out, hold them in his garage whilst it's being because he was saying, oh, we'll do it around it, and we said, no, you can't.
Oh.
You know, if we're going to decorate it, you can't have all that in there. So it's going to be emptied, and at the moment it's being run by someone as a library, and apparently it's quite popular. I don't know.
I sort of came to the conclusion that we've that our red telephone box has been possessed by a phantom librarian.
Well, we've got
Yeah.
some phantom
I was
crochet
sort of had
lady,
this
so we
ambition we could
and
turn it
crochet
into a piece of
lady.
street art. That I thought we could put a big cutout of David Bowie inside and recreate a back cover of the Ziggy Stardust album.
Might be a big idea.
Yeah. And we put a couple of lights in there, or otherwise, did anyone ever see the Banksy, the Death of the Telephone Box?
Yes.
Worth looking on that, where you cut one in half and put an axe in it and blood round it, because it used to be in Soho when I worked there on the pavement.
They've done
No,
one up.
Oh,
Yeah.
They've
He
done the
called
one
it
up by Kingdom Hall.
Death of a Phone Box.
Oh.
Which I thought was quite entertaining.
Right. So we've
It's
agreed on.
pink.
Well, most of
Yes.
his work
I'll
is pretty good.
I'll-
isn't it?
I'll do it. I've got his mail, so I'll just drop it back and just say, right,
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead,
fine.
you've got a budget of 1,500, sort it.
Yeah, I know.
Right. I will go around the table very quickly. Any other business or any other information, as we call it? Yep.
No.
Mike?
I'd just like to add on the January meeting, I'd like to put forward a joint proposal with WCCP on the DAO and just give me 5 minutes to present that proposal, if I may.
Yeah.
Tina?
No, I've just got to move.
I thought someone had upset you.
Andy, I was thinking of doing a first aid fresh up. Could you keep an eye out if there's anything on as courses?
Yeah.
We could make, so I think with the events, every time we are struggling to find a first aider.
And we could actually do with some kind of combining it with some tuition and using the defibrillators rather than suggesting give people the opportunity to find out
Those
use.
can't say it.
Defibs.
They are absolutely foolproof when you
It
have
tells
to
you,
use
it
one.
tells you what
Yeah.
to do, when not to do it, yes.
Yeah.
But
Just
if you've
keep an
ever,
eye out.
if they're saying try to do the, and you can't do Kiss of Life now, but when I test, we had one, oh God, and I ended up, and about 6 or 8 of us did it, looked like we've been in a fight, our lips, where you're trying, they've got a special little thing that you put in the person's mouth, and you trying to blow that, you know, and
It's
you've
not
got to
easy.
hold you. Oh my! Honestly, we have black and blue lips, but no. But as you said, defibrillator, it is so easy. It tells you what to do, when not to do it. It is. But it would be good, actually. So yes.
You're supposed to have a first aider on site.
Yes. Right. Okay.
Yes.
We're now, okay, 8:55.
Well
Meeting
done.
closed. Thank you very much. And we had to give